welcome back to the Ask Dr. Renee show here at blackdoctor.org. In case you don't know me, I'm your host, Dr. Renee, and we're here every Thursday night, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, and 3 o'clock Pacific. And we talk about whatever Dr. Renee feels like talking about. But August is Black Business Month, and so I wanted to highlight some Black businesses. So today we are highlighting some people that have several Black businesses. So I'm really excited to have the conversation. But first, we have to do housekeeping. Please make sure you guys share the broadcast. Share, because inevitably there is somebody who needs to hear this story and might be inspired by it. Might be you, might be a friend, a family member, whatever. So please make sure you share the broadcast and make sure that you are following us everywhere. Follow blackdoctor.org, follow Ask Dr. Renee, because we put out great content and we put out honest, truthful content, especially when it comes to health. So between both of our pages, Ask Dr. Renee and blackdoctor.org. So please make sure that you're following us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube. Just make sure you're following us because you want to get this information. Last little thing is just a shameless plug. I will be on News Nation tomorrow at 1:30 Central, so 2:30 Eastern, and that would be 12:30, I think, or 12:30 Pacific, something like that, or 11:30 Pacific in the morning. So please check me out tomorrow on News Nation. I'll be giving health information, which I've been doing for the last umpteen weeks on News Nation every Friday. So I hope you guys will check that out. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest today. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fabulous. So today we have Sulaiman Mausi, and hopefully his wife will join us. We're crossing our fingers, but it's okay because he can handle it. I know he can. So I start off most of my shows with, what did you want to do when you were growing up? What did you want to be?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually want to be an architect. Excuse me, not architect, archaeologist.
Oh, wow.
I was always fascinated with the Egyptian ruins and pyramids and stuff like that. So I want to be an archaeologist,
Okay.
Go out and dig and find something in the dirt and, find history. I was always fascinated by that. So
wow. Okay. So when you went off to college, what happened to those desires?
Well, they never really. My degree is actually in history.
Okay.
Okay. I've always been in business. I always had entrepreneurial spirit. So selling I got up work ethic, cutting grass. Newspaper routes, selling now and laters, whatever. You know what I'm saying? To make it
I get it.
So I started off a business major in college, and I got statistics, and I hated it. I was like, this ain't for me, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, man, I'm thinking about dropping out. Instead of my mother's like, no, you ain't dropping out. Just majoring something that you always liked. And my best friend was a history major. I had never really thought about it. So I was like, you know what? I've always enjoyed it. She said, no, my mother said, just majoring something that you enjoy doing, because most people don't work within their field anyway, especially at the undergrad level. So I was like, all right. So I always like history. I can write. I actually enjoy it. So I became a history major. So I graduated with a degree in history and a minor in marketing.
Wow. Okay. So, of course, you have to plug your HBCU, and you have the hat on too.
From North Carolina Central University. So great minds think alike. That's what I was actually about to plug. Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, he is a Detroiter because Detroiters hustle hard.
Yes, we do. I graduated of St. Martin de Porres High School, class of 1991.
Yes. So you go to college, you major in history, minor in marketing. So what's next?
After I graduated?
Yep.
Oh, after I graduated, my grandmother back in Detroit, Joyce Garrett, who was a phenomenal woman, had gotten sick, and I got into promotions and stuff towards the end of college and was doing parties and stuff like that, but I wasn't really making any money. So it was time for me to. My mother needed help, with my grandmother and stuff like that. So I figured it was time for me to go back home. That was 1997, and so I just graduated and went back to Detroit and went from there.
So what was the first business you started, and so a lot of people I can't start a business. I don't have any money. I don't have any. Can you tell people, how did you start?
The first business that I started, are we talking about legal or illegal?
Legal.
Legal. Okay, you gotta ask. If you read the book, it's all in
Yes.
there. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
And you guys,
It's a
this is a
thorough book.
phenomenal read, I must say. I read this book. I forgot how many days. It was quick. I picked it up from him and then I ran through it. It is really good, but it's awesome because it gives both sides, his and
Mm-hmm.
hers.
Mm-hmm.
Each chapter does his and hers, and it talks about literally about marriage, relationships, but it also covers business as well. So please, if you pick up the book, I'll put the link in the post too. But as a matter of fact, I'll put it in the chat too. But pick up the book.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Yes.
But so Amazon audiobooks, everything's available.
Yeah.
So man, my first legitimate business. That's a good one. Let me think about that. I would probably say, well, by the time I started working for the Right Productions, my mother had already formed that legally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was she already had that paperwork and stuff. Let me get out some thought. That's a very good question. Never been asked that before.
Okay.
Because I've had businesses like when I was throwing parties and stuff at college, but I never incorporated or anything like that. So
Right.
we were just doing parties and had a name, but didn't, wasn't legit. So let me think about that one. That's a
Okay.
very good question. I've never been asked that before. I'm gonna have to do some memory deep diving
Okay.
and come up.
So the Right Productions, though, that kind of gave you the foray into doing the stuff that you do in North Carolina too, though, right?
That's correct. So the Right Productions was actually formed by my mother 26 years ago after this is 26 years, something like that. And that was after she left the city of Detroit after Coleman was no longer mayor. She worked for the YWCA and stuff like that, but decided she went to her own thing. And so when I got to Detroit, we started working together then, and we got one of the first main contracts. When it comes to entertainment, was we were able to secure the contract for booking talent at MGM, the
Oh
casino.
wow.
So when the temporary casino opened, they had the bands in the back and all that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
behind the bar and this, that, other. So I'm in there. So we got that contract and we were really booking local acts. So the Gwen and Charles Scales and,
Yes.
the Leslie Birds and,
Uh-huh.
on and on and
Gwen
on.
and Charles Scales performed at my aunt's wedding.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
they've been around. So, those type of acts, phenomenal acts. So we did that for almost 8 years. Then they started doing big stuff out in the tent and this, that, other. And but during that time, to work in the casino, you had to have a gaming license. So, we had to go through the process of getting a gaming license. So when Shane Park came up for bid in 2004, because it was always according to others, I'm not getting into that, it was the numbers and stuff wasn't right. So when it came up for bid, we had to, they wanted everything to be squeaky clean. This under the Kwame's administration. So to try to remove the perceived cloud or whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? But the fact that we had a gaming license helped us. So even though we weren't making hardly any money at the casino, but having that background and the squeaky clean license, because it was, they make you price your artwork and all that kind of stuff out. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be, your books got to be clean, and we
Got it.
always have been. So that was how we were able to get the contract and to start booking talent on the national level coming through Shane Park, and then we moved to North Carolina to branch out down here, form the Dome Group, and keep
And so,
moving.
what are the venues you booked down there?
Down there, I do a lot of business at the Durham Performing Arts Center, which is at the number 7 venue in actually another number 5, somewhere between 3 and 5 in Durham, North Carolina, 2,700 seat venue, and it's actually probably like number somewhere between 3 and 5 in the country
Okay.
for ticket sales. You know what I mean? So they were looking for somebody who knew that urban space, who knew what they were doing. So that was our company. We did that. So we booked talent for HBCUs, North Carolina Central and others, Lincoln University, on and on and on down here. Because one of the things that I discovered was we do the Red Hat Amphitheater. So we do, my calls get returned. So, but what we try to do is we try to do for HBCU students and schools in general, one of the problems agents were having was, you call a school, you book somebody for a school, you got to go through legal process, every little change, this, that, other. Then SGA
Yep.
changes every year. So you try to, you got to deal with the kids and this, that, other. So we were able to position ourselves is that buffer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So they knew us, we issue us the contract. So if we had to have a change, I can just change it, send it back. They send it, we agree to it, and done. But if you send it through a lot of
Right.
municipalities, it's a whole another legal process every
So
single time.
me and my sister were in Ebony Productions, which was the concert promoting group at Michigan State.
Uh-huh.
So I am very familiar because I did kind of get up in the ranks in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because after doing that, I was like, I told my sister, I said, when I graduate med school, after I get into practice a little bit, I said, we'll open our own promotions company. We'll produce concerts, and my sister's like, yes, because we like being backstage. I was like, this is lovely. I was like, this is the best thing in the house. Huh?
Backstage is so overrated. I don't understand. People want
No,
to get
backstage. But one, I'm only 4'11", so when you're in standing room, it's just so much easier to see if I'm just sitting on the stage.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, this is easier. And I said, I can just watch the show from here. I'm okay with that. And so my sister was like, yeah, that sounds great. So
you made the right choice, bro.
What'd you say? I made the right choice. Well, exactly. Yeah, I don't produce shows, but look, I've watched enough shows backstage. As a matter of fact, somebody gave me, I will never forget, it was one of those, it was like an office chair, and they were like, is this okay? We don't have a seat for you, but you can watch. I said, this is fine. I sat in that little leather black chair, was like, this is my seat for the night. I am good. I was like, we could do this. But yeah, I remember when we had to go through, and then getting insurance, because we only did rap concerts in Michigan State for some reason. Which was not the easiest. I don't know why that's what we did, but that's what we did.
Tell me about it.
And I mean, we had Scarface, we had Outkast, we had Snoop and the East Side Boys, and it was like everyone from the West Coast came.
Nice.
And I remember that we paid Suge's wife, because Suge was in jail, because she was in charge at the time. And I remember meeting her and handing her everything. But yeah.
Wow.
It was quite interesting.
Sure, with that lineup, I have no doubt.
Something else. But yeah, so that so yeah, I know it can be a whole lot of red tape, because the school has to, make sure this and make sure that. So that's cool that you can be that buffer, because that allows them to have a lot more talent come through. The easier it is, the quicker.
It makes it easier for everybody. So
exactly. Because we would only have like one big show a year, because it took all that red tape.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. That was it. So yeah, so that is so cool. So then first, so what came first? The book must have came after. So the pandemic hits, and now you can't do shows. So what happens?
All right, up to the pandemic. Yeah, so during the pandemic, after, just like everybody else, everything was shut down. And I caught myself having diversified revenue streams. So I could book talent for schools, make money for that.
Right.
I'm a promoter in Detroit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And several other things, but they were all within
public facing.
Like, yeah, they were exactly. They were all within the in the same entertainment space. And so revenue just stopped. So I was like, oh Lord, what are we gonna do? And then so Lesleigh and I, we made three. Me personally made three switches. The three changes. One, we got into logistics, so we bought some box trucks, started making runs for Amazon. We wrote a book, and started working on another company called Black Promoters Collective. And those three things are still going today. So we started a publishing company, wrote the book during the pandemic. We still have, we got out of the box trucks, but we have sprinters, SUVs, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So we have that, and BPC has turned into one of the major players within the entertainment space, and we've gotten into touring nationally now, and God willing, international soon.
So if you guys have not, and I don't know how you couldn't have, but Black Promoters Collective did the New Edition Legacy Tour.
Yep.
They did Maxwell, what was the name of his tour?
Oh God, pressure. The night tour.
The Night Tour.
Yep.
What else have you guys done?
We did the Mary J. Blige tour.
Yes.
Yeah, we did the Mary J. Blige tour, and we've done several. The Tink tour, that was a good one.
Yeah.
We got Young Blue out now. We just announced the Scream tour. We'll do Fantasia. So it's just, just continues to grow. And some things I can't talk about yet because we haven't announced yet. But
right.
It's been.
And you guys are doing Tony.
You know what? We didn't end up with that tour. That's another story that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take that one offline. I was just with that,
okay. But yeah, so that is, I mean, talk about pivot. So that's what I'm saying. You guys have to read this book though, because can you imagine? Now your wife was still working as an educator though when the pandemic hit though, right?
No. She came out a few years before the pandemic.
Okay.
Once we in the book we talk about my infidelities and I have a son out of wedlock and things like that. And it was when, and I wish she was here to tell her own testimony on that. But once we decided to try to work together, to make our marriage work, she felt it was time for her to come out of the classroom.
Got it.
I've been asking for a few years, because the money they made and the stress it was taking on. I was like, look, I could really use the help, this, that, other. So that's when she came out. And been doing her thing and working with the company and stuff like that ever since.
Awesome sauce. But so if somebody wanted to start a business on their own, what advice would you give?
The first piece of advice I would give them is don't have fear. Fear is the biggest hindrance, especially to our people, in starting a business and having a successful one, because it's like they're scared to succeed. Like, you're already broke, so what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? you know how to maneuver there. You know what I'm saying? So leap out on faith and start that business, because there's nowhere to go but up. You know what I mean? And most people, when they do it, they're like, man, I waited all this time for this. You know what I'm saying? Because you get stuck into a regular check with a regular amount and never leave, never explore their full potential, since I know what zero's like, what I'm saying? I know what rock bottom is, but you can't cap my ceiling.
Right.
So don't have fear, be patient, do due diligence, whatever business that you're going to start, learn all aspects of it. So if you're going to start I don't care whether you basketball is the business or toothpicks is the business. It doesn't matter. All businesses are basically the same. And, you learn, distribution, you learn price points, you learn budgeting, you learn marketing, you know what I mean? All the things that go into business are basically the same. So learn the different aspects, because that's what I did with an entertainment business. Learn all the different aspects, and then you'll be able to run a successful business, hopefully.
Yeah, so a lot of people, like you said, fear. So they're like, oh, well, I didn't go to school for this, so I need to go back to school for this, and I need to go and learn this. And that's a waste of good money, isn't it?
Well, potentially. I believe in education.
I believe in education too, but I think that people who think that because I'm pivoting careers, I need to go and learn, but you can probably use what you've used all along to kind of guide you the way. And then, of course, have you had any mentors?
Yeah. I've had I learned from another promoter in the city of Detroit. I won't say his name. I learned what to do, and most importantly, I learned what not to do. And keep your integrity. You know what I mean? But when you're going out there, yes, there's school and this, that, other, but volunteer within that space. You're not people always want I'm good at getting paid. why would you gonna learn? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Take the time to learn. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, work for what's less than you normally get if you're really passionate about it. That way you can find out, you know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna cost you money one way or the other. So,
Right.
mm,
Yeah. In mistakes or
yeah,
and yeah.
mistakes will cost you more. You know what
Or,
I mean? Than working
right.
with somebody for free, learn from their mistakes, and if you're working hard, showing up on time, people will teach you. They
Right.
help you along the way.
Exactly. Um, and I mean, how many people do you guys manage over there at the Aretha? Which is now so Shane Park changed to the Aretha when
Hmm.
Aretha Franklin died.
Hmm.
And so that's what it's called now.
Yeah.
So same venue. And for those that are watching, Shane Park, if you live in Chicago, it is a fabulous, fabulous, much better northerly island. Have you been to our northerly island?
I have not.
You ain't missing nothing.
Oh.
Uh, it's awful. There's no covering. So we went to see a concert there, and it was my first time there because they had just thrown it up. And I was like, how much did we pay? And if it rains, it's gonna rain on our heads.
Mm. Mm.
And then it has to get a certain dark before you can see the screens.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, this is not. I said, and the people were with me. My sister was with me and another Detroiter, and I was like, Shane Park, this is not. She was like, no, it's not. It's not.
Are you still in Chicago or are you back in Detroit?
So right now, physically, I am in Michigan,
Okay.
but I still live in Chicago. So I was in Chicago. I just left Sunday. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm taking care of my Padres. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Yeah,
once again,
but we employ, which is one of the best parts about what I do is we employ on an annual basis between 300 and 400 people
yeah, that's
throughout
awesome.
the course of a summer, 4 or 5 months period, and they look like you and I
Hmm.
primarily,
Hmm.
and that's important to me. You know what I mean? Yes, it's part time work for a lot of them, but if it's a cop working, making, I'm not gonna call it what they make, enough
Right.
to pay their car note in a week or two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Money for people to go back to school, back to school shopping. You know what I
Right.
mean? We've had interns for the last 20 years. They've all looked like us. So
Hmm.
it's it's stage hands and security and police and on and on and on. So it's I take pride in pouring back into my community. So
Yeah. And and their staff is fabulous. I try to go to a few shows a summer. I did, like I said, I just told them I went to Club Quarantine this summer. That's the only one I've been to thus far this summer. But and I might still be able to hit a few more before it's over. But I'm gonna try. We really wanted to see Avery Sunshine last night, but I had to work, so couldn't go. But yeah, so and actually on my birthday is Kelly Price, so we'll see. We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah. Tickets on me. How about that?
Oh, okay.
If you
But
want
so yeah, so it is it's a fabulous venue, and really I feel like across the country they should model themselves after it. That's
yeah,
my personal opinion.
give us
Yeah.
a,
I
a,
mean,
a check
because
for modeling us. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I mean, no, I mean seriously, it is just the covering for
Yeah,
the seated play is
it
perfect.
is.
And then there is lawn seating for those that want to do lawn seating.
Mm-hmm. But the
That's general
majority of
admission,
it's covered, and
obviously.
that's rare. People don't
Right,
realize how rare. There's no other venue with the backdrop of international of another country.
right.
With the
Canada
boats
is
and
in
all
front of us. When you're watching the
that.
concert, you're looking at Canada. There's boaters back there that are
Hmm.
enjoying the show just as much as we are. So it's a really nice venue. They have food, they've got drinks, and
Hmm.
they have bathroom hands, which I think is so lovely. I love when there's bathroom help. I was like, it makes it seem so swanky, but but it also keeps the bathrooms clean, so that is a smart thing.
Yes.
But
Hmm.
yes, fabulous venue. And then the Black Promoters Collective, I think that was just so how many, and it's called Black Promoters Collective obviously for a reason. So how
Hmm.
many of you guys is it?
There's 6 companies in
Got
it,
it.
and what happened was, like I said, during the pandemic, what we did, how it started was, made a call to my partner Shelby, who we had a different version before this, before the BPC. But I called
Hmm.
him. I was like, man, it's time to call. everybody together, and just to see how the hell we're gonna survive this shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Excuse my French. You know what I'm saying? What are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? The big dogs are figuring out something, but we need to figure something out. You know what I mean? Uh, sorry, tour
That's
going on.
okay.
Issues. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
um, whew,
The Black
so
Promoters
what
Collective.
happened was BPC. So, Carl Shelby was like, let's call everybody, get them together, and figure out, what's going to happen. It really started sharing information. So it started off with probably about, I would say 20 people. So, okay, we're gonna meet every Wednesday. And then, it got to a point, it was like, people were on maybe a little bit more than that. But, we just called people that we knew that had shows up, no matter how big or how small they were. And after a while, the number started dwindling, but we were like, what? All right, so we know this is going to end one day. What's next? How do we come out and be competitive against the Live Nations and the AEGs of the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So, we really got to get into the touring space because we got to, get our culture back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the one excuse that they make. Well, you're only doing, Sulaiman, you only do dates here and there. What we call our business one-offs. So okay, we're going to touring space. So people just do the personality conflicts or time commitments, or some people just weren't interested, which is fine. But we came together and formed the Black Promoters Collective. And our first active we signed, who agreed to give us a shot, was Maxwell.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it was Maxwell, Anthony Hamilton, and Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And then we announced that the New Edition came back because at first they said no, and I put it on there. I'm trying to watch Mike Bivens stand tonight, but they said no. They came back. You know what I'm saying? That's an exclusive. Nobody know that. So, but then we shot across the country, and we announced that, and it caught like gangbusters. At least social media wise. Then we got New Edition, put that together, and God is good. It's been
Yes.
going. We did over 120 million in business last year.
Nice.
I wish it was net, but it's gross. But that's
It's
okay.
hey. Hey.
It's major.
Look,
Slowly but
if you
surely.
guys can get up there to compete with Live Nation,
Mm-hmm.
that will be huge.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be huge.
Because
And I
there's no
see it.
reason for us not to be able to start off bare minimum, produce our own content.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody in the collective always has a reputation for paying their bills,
Mm-hmm.
just starting on time, which we are stickler on.
Yep.
And having high quality production, and why do you have to go somewhere else? We're not after for the homeboy hookup. We
Nope.
just want the opportunity to do what other people are doing. You know what I'm saying? So
another shameless plug. So Michael Bivens documentary, it launched today on All Black, and there are scenes in the documentary because I already saw it. I saw it at Martha's Vineyard 2 weeks ago, and there are scenes from the Legacy tour.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, sir.
You said it's on All Black, so I got to figure out what.
It's a streaming network. So if you get on, I'm sure you have a Fire Stick. Just download All Black.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a streaming platform. All Black, ALLBLK.
BLK. Okay.
Yes. And so it started streaming today. It is phenomenal. It is the documentary. It's called 617 Hustle Biv. I believe that's what it's called. But because it's his Twitter and Instagram handle. But it is phenomenal. But there are scenes from the Legacy tour.
Okay. Yeah. Have to check that out. Yeah. There it is, isn't it?
Yes. So yeah, and yes, the production did look phenomenal. I did not make it to the Legacy tour because I was still a little gun shy on the whole COVID thing, and I just could not.
You're a doctor. You got things to do. You got to be careful.
And I was taking care of my padre and my mother, and I was like, I cannot bring anything home to them. So I was like, not inside. The first concert we went to though, out of COVID, was the Jodeci show at Shane Park.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because I was like, well, it's outside. I told my sister, I think we could do outside and we'll be okay. And she was like, yeah, let's do that. So we did that.
There you go. So, baby steps. Got to crawl.
Yeah, exactly. Baby steps. Exactly. So we did do that, and it was great. Jodeci was everything I needed them to be. minus Devontae, but God bless him.
And I ain't saying nothing.
And Father MC was lovely that night too, and so was Soul for Real. So it was a great show. We had a great time. Yeah. So I am an author as well, as you know. So what would you say to somebody who wants to write a book? What would be the suggestion?
That's a good one. Well, the route we took was we hired a ghostwriter.
Okay.
Especially with the nature of the book, with the personal nature of it,
Right.
the perspective of it, and want to make sure we actually got it done.
Okay.
Because my wife's a writer, I'm not so much. You know what I'm saying when it comes to that. So, they gave us the opportunity to put, talk to someone through it about,
and then they can put it together.
They can put it together.
You know what? There's so many people that don't know that ghostwriters are out there, and they can. You can literally talk to them and tell them your story, and they will put it down on paper for you.
It was once a week, like clockwork during the pandemic. This is where we were. So go through 2 chapters. It's almost like an interview process. She'd come back and then, edit the things we, get the right perspective on both of our ends, personalize it. You know what I mean? Because you can't have a book from Detroit and not say, "What up, though?" You know what I'm saying? She wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? She was from Detroit. She wouldn't know that.
Right.
Like we met at Legends. You know what I'm saying? Not just a nightclub.
Right.
Legends nightclub.
Right.
That's a Detroit thing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Not a strip club now, what it was then. So it's it was a good experience,
And actually, the book is also on Audible, you guys. If you want to hear the audiobook, I read the book. This was because I read the book before it came on Audible. I actually do Audible for most of my books, so I haven't heard the audiobook. But I do voiceover, FYI, and I was like, I would have loved to have read it. But so I hope that you all had somebody who read it that sounded like they were actually a sorority sister of Lesleigh. I had a friend that wrote a book and somebody other read the book, and you could tell because of the things they said. And I was like, this is just clearly not one of us. But
her sister did her voice.
Oh, good. Awesome.
She's a soror as well. Amen. She's a doctor of vocal music over at Carolina.
Okay.
And Joe Steingold, he's from Detroit.
Okay.
He plays on The Chi. He's an actor. He does a lot of professional voiceover work. He's on The Chi. He's done a lot of different voiceover work, and he did my voice.
Okay.
Native, went to Cass Tech.
Okay. Who is he on The Chi? Do you know?
Do you watch The Chi?
I sure do.
He is the father of the little girl.
Oh yes, and I've seen him on Black Detroiters Instagram.
Yes, Joe.
Yes.
So he did my voice.
Okay.
So it's still a Detroit thing. You know what I mean? So
perfect. Perfect. Then. So I will probably just go listen to it just because.
Please do. Let us know how.
Yeah.
Let us know how it sounds.
Yeah, I will definitely.
We have a cameo.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Renee, hello.
Hi. I'm so bummed that last summer when I got the book, I didn't get to meet you. You were away. You hadn't made it but there yet or something, and I didn't have a lot of time. So I was bummed because obviously I've seen this knucklehead so many times at the shows and stuff. But I was like, oh, I can meet his wife.
But please forgive me.
Yeah, she got you bought it at the books. Yeah, she was one of the first people there.
Thank you for purchasing the book.
Yes, and I did a review. You guys, if you go to Amazon, you can see my video review.
Thank you.
I posted on my Facebook. This book, I'm telling you guys, is excellent. It was excellent. Excellent.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. It was a labor of love for sure.
Yeah. And I like I said, it was really good. Relationships, business, all of that in between.
Yeah.
Now, for you, I'm so excited because I really wanted you to talk about what is this fishing thing that you do?
Yeah. Well,
probably a black business.
Fancy that.
Yes.
Complete. It was nowhere even on the radar.
Too, yeah.
But it was during COVID. Girlfriend of mine, we were down at the coast of North Carolina fishing, having a good time. And then I went home and she called me like, girl, do you know there are all these women fishing and they're winning thousands and thousands of dollars? I'm like, really? She said, yeah. And they're professional fish. She was like, I want to form a team and I want you to be on it. I'm like, that was it. Count me in. I had goosebumps. My father was a professional angler. Well, he fished for recreation.
Okay.
But he would put charters together, a deep sea angler, let me say. So we get, 3 other ladies together and we form this fishing team called the Ebony Anglers. And we we went out for our first tournament maybe 30 days later after forming the team. And we won that tournament and went viral. Needless to say, we are the first African American, all female deep sea fishing team. And we have just been making waves ever since. We had no idea in 2020 that this would take on a life of its own. We've formed a youth camp.
Oh, lovely.
Teaching young children ages 8 to 12 how to fish, how to boat. Our programs are called Black Girls Fish and Black Boys Boat. We want kids to understand that there are career paths down in this particular field, very lucrative career paths. So not only do kids get, life skills and leadership skills, but, they could make some money. Marine biology, it's just a wealth of different opportunities for our children in these fields. So I'm just proud to, be a conduit for that.
That's awesome. I run in Washington Park when I'm at home in Chicago, and I've seen signs for a fishing camp.
Yes.
And if anyone knows Chicago, Washington Park is on the south side. And so these are obviously Black children.
Yes.
And somebody was like, are you serious? I go, I've seen the tents and the signs. And I said, so somebody's running a camp over here.
That's right. That's right. It is a sport that teaches so many life skills, but then also, I'm an educator,
right?
A retired principal. And, I would come into contact with young people who really didn't have the coping skills. They were dealing with hunger. They were dealing with depression. They were starting to cut themselves. They were self-medicating with drugs and alcohol. So this is a way, I know how I feel when I'm out on the water. There's a peace, there's a calm, I'm able to decompress, and I'm putting, my phone is put away. So it's being present. And so that's really what we're teaching young people. And I mean, they're not even looking at their screens or their phones when they're out with us at the camp on the water, learning how to fish. It's such a wonderful experience for them, and they keep coming back every year. So I'm honored to be a part of it.
That is awesome. And Sulaiman, I forgot, you should be. Sulaiman, I forgot, you just got a big announcement from Billboard.
Yes.
Oh yes. We got, who was it? It was
last month.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
The Billboard Award for
top executive.
Yeah, one of the power.
Is
one
it
of the top
power players?
Yeah, one of the power players.
Yeah, Billboard Power Players 2023.
Yeah, so it was an honor to be recognized for the hard work and the labor of love. So it was an honor. I'm not used to those type of things. I'm not used to being in the forefront. I didn't really get into it for that.
That was awesome. And the funniest thing is, I actually knew more than one person that got that.
Hey,
oh, nice.
Like, how's my circle going here? And actually, it's another Michigander. One of the kids I went to high school with is Rob Gibbs. That
Rob. Yeah, he just signed Jesus.
He went to high school with us.
Oh, really?
Out here in the middle of nowhere. When there was no Black people out here. Now there are, but there was none then. There were 5 in my class, and so he was in the class, I think, below mine. And but yeah, Rob Gibbs went to Wall Lake Western. Yep.
Wall Lake, yeah. Way out.
I think he went to Michigan too.
Did he? Go Blue.
Okay, well, I'm a Spartan. So
are you? That's okay. But because I think you're my soror as well.
I am.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So it's all good. All is well with the world.
Yes. My mom is a U of M grad. She's also a soror.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. But me and my sister are Spartans.
All good.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
we had to make a decision. That's the decision we went with. But you know what happened is we visited U of M during Hash Bash, and my father was like, "What is this?"
No, he was like, "That ain't happening."
Exactly. He was like, I don't understand. What is going on here?
Oh, that's funny.
Good times.
And my mom didn't go. It was my dad who took me, and he was like, I don't know what was going on when you were there, but I don't think that's what was going on.
Right.
It was.
Right, exactly. You're right. My mom was an older. My mother, as a matter of fact, graduated with her master's while she was pregnant with me, so she was an older student anyway.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my father was like, I don't know about this place. And so I was like, but Michigan State. He was like, yes. I was like, okay, great.
Yes, to Michigan State.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've already asked him. So can you tell us, what would you give advice to somebody who wanted to start a business?
Well, first I would tell them not to quit their day job.
Amen. Amen.
You know, I think a lot of people think that they can jump into entrepreneurship and just kind of start, and, you know, there not be any bumps or bruises and they can make money that first year. Do not quit your day job. Keep your 9 to 5. Keep your 9 to 5 and work your dream 5 to 9, 5 to midnight.
Right.
You know, you really want to make sure that what you're in is a passion. You know, This is a passion of yours. You want it to be something that that you can be in for the long haul. But then also go for it. It's interesting that I said both, but go for it. You know, you really want to invest in yourself. So when I say go for it, you want to be educated. You want to make sure that you are investing money in grooming yourself and surrounding yourself with people who are where you want to be, who are doing what you want to do. You know, spend money on that. Spend money on yourself to learn the ropes, and then take the leap of faith.
Yeah. So Lisa Nichols was on my show many years ago, and she said, have your day job fund your dream.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept my day job when he, you know, left. And went out on our own. So, you know, I believe wholeheartedly, especially if you're a married unit, someone's going to end up funding while someone else is going out and stepping out on faith. So you got to kind of be able to do both things and cover one another. So that's the blessing of being a unit and stepping out into entrepreneurship.
Now, what would you say about couples working together? Because, you know, a lot of people are like, don't do it.
Yeah, it all depends. You know, you got to try it out. You'll never know. You never know if you don't try it out. It is definitely not easy.
No, I remember in the book how you were saying how, well, he does this and he wakes up at this and I don't wake up and do it.
That's right. You know, and you flow at different paces. You're made differently. You know, coming out of education, all I did was talk. I talked all day long. And so, you know, he's up early wanting to talk. And I'm like, I don't want to, let's not talk. But, you know, I really think that if you're working together, you've got to find some common ground, some middle ground. You're going to find where you're weak and where your partner is strong, and just be honest about that. And then flow in your gifts, you know, and then respect your partner enough to take a step back and let them flow in theirs and do what they do well, and let them handle that. And you handle, you know, what you do well. And if both of you are bringing your gifts to the table, prayerfully, that will push the business forward. And then where you both come up short, hire someone to do that. You know, build your team and make sure that you're surrounding yourselves with people who can get in where they fit in and boost where you lack.
Now, what do you say? There's a lot of people who hire help and help is not helpful.
Yeah.
Fire them.
Then, no, I was about to say, but then because they're so nice, they just don't feel like they can fire them.
I know. I feel him looking at me. I do. You know, fire when it's time to fire, because when you don't, someone can overstay their welcome, and it really starts to wear on the business. I know that we have kept, people on longer than we needed to. And I'm always trying to groom folks, when you hire younger people. As an educator, I want to make sure that I'm shaping the next generation, right? And I don't mean to put that in quotes because it's not true. I put that in quotes because that's kind of always where I lean.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be not so good when you're talking business and there's money on the line.
Right.
So, it takes balance. And I'm learning as well. I didn't start off as an entrepreneur. So having this guy by my side and looking at me sideways like he just did, that's our system of checks and balances. And so I've learned, that when it's time, you got to cut ties. It'll be okay.
Right. So because you're the mother, I have to say, first
Yeah.
of all, you guys, they have 3 sons.
Yeah.
They're empty nesters now.
Yes. Hallelujah.
No.
Hallelujah.
And you have 1 graduate, right?
I have a Morehouse man. Yes, we do.
Yes.
So, can you speak to the mothers that want to be entrepreneurs and that maybe they have fear or something and they feel like their children are going to get in the way or?
Yeah, I feel. How can I speak to that? Because I'm actually in a shift right now as we speak. Now that I'm an empty nester, I'm finding that who I am is changing, and maybe what motivated me before has shifted a little bit. Mothering is going to be different for me. So they're not in the house right now.
Right.
We can focus more on what Lesleigh wants to do, and what is this next level of life for me. So for me, I'm taking a step back and thinking about, how entrepreneurship is going to change for me and what businesses are going to be, my passion. So I'm not really sure how to answer that from the place where I am right now. But I'm thinking of my sister right now, who is a single mom and who is just going for her business and entrepreneurship in the time that she has, the free time that she has. It's not a lot of free time, and she leans on us a lot. So for those mothers, I would say find your village, really lean on your village, carve out time, to dedicate to your business. She would be in the basement in the wee hours of the night. So sometimes there is no sleeping, but as mothers, we know that. And just go for it. Know that there's a season for everything. And what's for you is for you. So if you got to put something on pause or the back burner, don't feel like, you're a failure or it didn't work out. Be patient with yourself and give yourself grace. And it will happen when it's supposed to.
Amen. I agree. Yes. So any final thoughts? As I mentioned, Black Doctor has another show starting in 10 minutes.
Nice.
And they are getting ready right now. I have another computer up here that I'm producing. So, any final thoughts? And also, I want to make sure that we have a website so people can check out the camp.
Yes, for the camp, ebonyanglers.com. And it's annually, it's every August.
That was excellent. Yeah.
Thank you. It's my
sister. It's in North Carolina?
It's in North Carolina.
Okay. They're expanding. They're going to Florida and everything else.
Yeah, we are expanding. We've got one at the Cape on the coast, and then one that we're going to do in Florida in 2024. So just subscribe on ebonyanglers.com.
Follow them on social media.
Thank you. Look at you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. But any final thoughts, final words for our lovely audience in this beautiful Black Business Month?
Yeah, just go for it. Don't be afraid to succeed, and just know if something looks like a failure, it's not really. It's learning. It's literally a learning lesson, because as long as you got breath in your body, you're still winning. So, go for it. Do good business. Keep your name good. My name will always be better than my money. You know what I'm saying? Because money comes and goes. If I didn't have a good name, I wouldn't be in business now. Because many times I didn't have any money. And, if people know you rock solid and you're gonna work hard, go for it. Put God first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get up and kick ass. You know, don't sleep until 10 o'clock. You know.
Hey,
You
I
did
hate
that, you know what I'm
as
saying?
the
I mean, for
doctor, I
me,
will say you do
this is
need
my
to
thing.
sleep,
For me, you know what I mean? You know, it's
but when I was building, I understand. I didn't sleep
yeah.
much either.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I kill what I eat, so I gotta
Right.
get up and start stabbing. You know what I'm saying? If I don't make it happen, that's it.
Right.
So, you know, you're trying to catch up with me and you don't start till 9, you done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's me. That's my method. But that's all I got, you know.
For me, I think just some last words: invest in yourself and know that you can always start again. You know, don't be afraid to take the leap of faith and make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who've got your back, because you'll need to lean on them.
Yep. And everyone, please go get the book.
Yes.
We put the link in the chat. I will make sure the link is in all the description boxes. But
Thank you.
please go get the book and make sure you follow them and follow Black Doctor and follow Ask Dr. Renee. And I will see you next week. And yeah, actually, I must tell everyone next week will be the day after my birthday. So my birthday is very important to me.
Virgo Nation.
Yes, Virgo Nation.
Virgo Nation.
Thank you. So next Thursday, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Pacific, and we will see you next week. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Peace.